All right, and we are back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast. And for the second part of the show, we're going to discuss now some of the latest signings and trades around the league outside of the Juan Soto deal, because obviously that was the biggest deal, in my opinion. But obviously there were other deals as well that were made around the league, so we'll go through them. So one of them, the Diamondbacks, who obviously were the runner-ups in the 2023 World Series, they went out and they signed starting pitcher Eduardo Rodriguez to a 4-year, $80 million contract. He pitched pretty well with the Tigers last year. Had a 3.30 ERA, 1.15 WHIP. And listen, that I think him being their number 3 starter, middle of the rotation guy, that's not a bad signing, to go along with Merrill Kelly and Zach Gallen. I think that's a decent signing for the Diamondbacks, of course. So, let me know what you guys think about that signing. So, also, we had the Reds going out and signing Jeimer Candelario. Right now, at least what I'm reading, it was just an undisclosed contract, so we don't know the details of it. Let me see if they... Let me see if it's coming, if it came out. But yeah, so he spent last year with the Nationals and the Cubs, and had a good season. He had hit 22 home runs, 70 RBIs, 251 batting average. So it was a 3-year, $45 million deal with the Reds. So that helps improves the Reds infield. Like I said, split some time with both the Cubs and the Nationals. So yeah, he did get off to a good start with the Cubs, but then he kind of cooled off, and I think he got hurt at one point too. But yeah, so had a 258 batting average. Actually, let's see. I'm just looking at Safari here. So let's see his stats. I wanted them to show it year by year, but it's not doing that. But yeah, so he also had an 807 OPS last year, 22 home runs, 70 RBIs. He was solid, and so the Reds are getting a decent player. I mean, he's somebody that I was hoping maybe the Yankees were going to get at the deadline because they kind of needed help with their infield last year with some of the guys that were struggling. So, that's a decent player that the Reds are getting. Speaking of the Reds, their former outfielder, Nick Senzel, he signed a 1-year, $2 million deal contract with the Nationals. Last year, batted .236 with 12 home runs and a .696 OPS, low defensive value. This is kind of like, it might be his last shot, at least what I'm reading. Signing with the Nationals, because he was supposed to be a good player for the Reds, and I guess it really just never really panned out. So that's another signing. You also had Craig Kimbrell signing with the Orioles, so now he's with yet another team. Was with the Phillies last year, so he pitched with the Red Sox. He's been with the White Sox. He started out his career with the Braves when he was one of the best closers in baseball. Obviously, he's not the same closer as he once was, but the Orioles signed him to a 1-year, $13 million deal because they're going to be without their closer, Felix Bautista, for the entire 2024 season because he's going to be getting Tommy John surgery. It's not a bad deal. I mean, again, the Orioles are looking for reliever help. I mean, the Orioles had one of the better bullpens in baseball. And, Kimbrell, he kind of had a rough series against the Diamondbacks in the postseason. So you kind of worry about, you don't know what you're going to get out of Kimbrell. He's very inconsistent now. So, but again, the Orioles needed to fill up, a hole in their bullpen. And, they got him for 1 year, $13 million. So, we'll see how he performs with the Orioles. The Pirates, they made a deal with the Mariners, so they acquired actually not with the Mariners. They got from the Braves, actually. They acquired pitcher Marco Gonzalez from the Atlanta Braves in exchange for a player to be named later. So yeah, this was in part because the Mariners traded Jared Kelenic to the Braves. Um, so he was a part of that deal, and they just flipped him uh, to the Pirates. So that was the other deal that was made. Because actually, let's go back to that deal, if I could find it, cause at the page that I'm looking at. Also, the Mets signed Jorge Lopez, who was a good relief pitcher. They're trying to bolster their bullpen, of course. You know, I think people are kind of surprised with the approach the Mets have went with this offseason, because I mean, they didn't finish. You know, they weren't a good team last year. They regressed. I mean, now they're getting Diaz back, which is huge, and you hope that he's back to himself before the injury. But yeah, so they had Jorge Lopez to kind of bolster the bullpen, because wasn't he an All-Star recently? Let's see if I could pull up his stats here. So we'll go to his Baseball Reference. Yeah, so he's a one-time All-Star, and that was, let's see. All right, it didn't. I clicked on All-Star, but it didn't pull it up. But yeah, he's a one-time All-Star. Last year kind of had a rough year, but he had a good year a couple years ago. Actually, all right. Well, for some reason, I'm looking at his stats, and this is all like his ERAs are high, but I thought he was good at 2022, yeah, with the Orioles. So he went 4-6, but he had a 1.68 ERA in 44 games. Yeah, because then he got traded to the Twins, wasn't as good, and then he kind of bounced around in 2023. He was with the Marlins, he was with the Twins, he was with the Orioles. So yeah, 2022 is where he had a good season. But yeah, I mean the Mets, they got him to improve their bullpen. So we'll see how it goes. But that's just another signing that I saw. Also, the Reds, they signed a couple of pitchers. They signed Nick Martinez, who pitched for the Padres. So the Reds have kind of been busy a little bit. Like I said, they also signed Candelario. They signed Nick Martinez and Emilio Pagan. They signed him to a 2-year contract. So they've been kind of busy. I'm trying to see if I could find the Kelenic trade on the page that I've been looking at. Let me see if I could just pull it up, because that was another big trade that the Braves made, and also the Braves supposedly are in on Ohtani. I mean, what's up with that? But I don't think, it doesn't seem like he's gonna go there, but we'll see. But yeah, so the Braves, they got Jared Kelenic in a big deal. So the deal was the Braves acquired Jared Kelenic, Marco Gonzalez, and Evan White from the Mariners. The Mariners, they received right-handers Jackson Kowar and Cole Phillips. But yeah, then they flipped Marco Gonzalez to the Pirates. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all the deals that Also, I mean, I think I did mention this. The Phillies did re-sign Aaron Nola. I at least did a short on that. I don't know if I mentioned it on here, so that was big. They signed him to a 7-year contract. So he stays in Philly. I mean, that's big. I mean, listen, he's been a good postseason performer. Also, this was another trade. So the Mariners, they traded Eugenio Suarez in exchange for pitcher Carlos Vargas and catcher Sebi Zavala. And here it just says it's a salary dump for the Mariners. So, and let's see what they do. Do they sign? Are they still in on Shohei Ohtani? Like Shohei Ohtani end up there? We'll see. Also, the Tigers, they signed pitcher Kenta Maeda to a 2-year contract. A guy that could eat up innings for them. So, and I think that's pretty much it when it comes to all the current news. Obviously, we're going to talk about Shohei Ohtani in the next segment. And I'll update you on what, could possibly happen there. We're still waiting on Cody Bellinger and what he's going to do. But we're moving right along here in the off season. So, it's going to be. These next 24 hours are going to be insane if Ohtani ends up signing now, because the Soto trade got us started off. Now we're just now we got to see where Ohtani ends up. Yamamoto, he met with the Mets. Steve Cohen flew out to Japan to meet with him. And of course, the Yankees are going to meet with him on Monday. Yankees feel pretty confident that they can get him. I hope they do. They're getting Hideki Matsui to help them out with the recruiting. So hopefully, they get it done and they add another good pitcher to their rotation. Really hoping that they can get that done, because that would be amazing. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it with all the signings and trades. Obviously, again, we talked about the Soto trade to start us off. That by far has been the biggest trade so far. Are more trades on the way. And of course, later in the show, we're going to talk about some of the big trades that were made in the offseason, because I thought that was something interesting to look at. But before we go to break, I just want to remind you guys, let me just take down the Juan Soto stuff here. Let's get the graphic back up here. So again, I just want to remind you guys, once again, to tip or donate and get your comments recognized, make sure to go to the following link. That is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. Again, that really helps the show, makes the show more interactive between myself, the host, and you guys, the viewers. Again, that is streamelements.com/gsmcsportsnetwork./tip. So when we come back from our second break of the show, I'll give you guys the updates on Shohei Ohtani and, what's going to happen there. Where could he end up? Apparently, he could be making a decision possibly today. Who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But obviously, this is the biggest free agent on the market. So, of course, we're going to at least devote a segment to him, every week until he signs. So, and then, of course, when he does sign, we're going to do a topic on that as well. So that's going to be what we talk about when we come back, is once again another Shohei Ohtani update. So with that being said, stick around, and we'll be right back here on the GSMC Baseball Podcast.